Good morning, guys. It's Naveen, John, and Paul. Can you guys hear me? Could you please type in the chat window? Chandra, can you hear me? Ganesh, can you hear me, guys?
Yes, Naveen.
Great. Thank you, guys. I guess we'll get started. And before we get started, just a quick and friendly review, guys. Let's see. May come here. Let's say. See. Good morning, guys. Good morning. Good morning again. Morning again. Good morning again. Okay, that's a little bit of myself. And gentlemen, ladies, any one of you, can you come online just like Suresh yesterday? We'll spend a few minutes on questions and things like that. You can unmute yourself and maybe show up your video. We'll review a few questions and things like that, and we'll continue the journey. Anybody? Any volunteers, please? One more time. Just type in a Y or yes. Feel free to participate, guys. It will be helpful for you. A little bit of teamwork and things like that. Still waiting for a reply. Anybody? How about Vinaya, Harshita? Are you in a stage where you can come online? Who else we have? Sindhu, Praharsha. Okay. Suresh, are you there, buddy? Suresh not in? It's Chadu, Suresh. Suresh is not in, it looks like, guys. So I need one or two volunteers, just in a friendly way. You don't have to worry much. We'll have a quick review. Still waiting. You guys should, one of you should be brave enough. Okay. Then in that case, how about, let's say, start with, I will choose one of you. How about Vishweshwari? Can you come online? Are you ready? Are you in a stage where you can come online? If you're not, at least type in the answer. Those of you who are not able to take a, just say no, and maybe give me a small excuse. Hey, I'm here, I'm outside, I'm inside, and things like that. Cool. Gentlemen, ladies, still waiting for a reply. Interesting. You should, guys. You're in a corporate world. Whether it is yes or no, you should be able to reply. You'll be handling more tougher situations tomorrow. Can you guys hear me, guys? Vinay, Harshita, you're able to hear me, right?
Yes, Naveen.
How about Tanuja, Subbu? Can you guys hear me? Could you please give me a yes, please? We can hear you. Good, Niharika. How about you, Niharika? Can you come online for a few questions and things like that? Yes, no? Okay. Network issues. Okay. Let's see. Okay. I will not put too much pressure, but gentlemen, ladies, that's a very important thing that I'm asking, and you guys should reply a yes or a no. If you have a no, you should be able to give me an answer. You're in the world of corporate, and this kind of things will be. You need to be prepared for this kind of things, guys. Please prepare yourselves and things like that. Technical knowledge is important, but these small things will make a big thing and things like that. Okay, so just keep that in mind in a friendly way. I don't want to put too much of pressure, but let me shoot a few questions and you can type in the answers, guys. Gentlemen, ladies, what is Python? Anybody? Type in your answers in the chat window. Satish, good. Okay, let me find Satish. Unmute yourself, buddy. Yes, Satish, and very good.
Good morning, Naveen.
Let's see. There is Satish, and let's say we'll say make co-host and make co-host. Oh, no, I don't need to make you co-host. Sorry. Remove co-host. You just show your video if you could. Just show up yourself.
Hi, Neeraj.
There you go. Let's see. Sorry about that, guys. I think I was on mute here. Satish, who are you?
Hello. Am I audible?
Can you hear me, Satish?
Yeah, I can hear you. Am I audible?
Yes, you're audible.
Okay.
Okay, so Satish, let's see. Okay, what is Python?
Python is a high-level dynamic programming language.
Very good. Why do you call it high level?
Because it consists of so many predefined functions included in Python.
Very good. You have a lot of functions.
Functions and predefined functions.
Very good. And let's see. Yeah, try to help out Satish here while he's answering the questions. Now here's a slightly tough question, Satish. What is Anaconda?
Anaconda is a platform which we use to run Python.
Good answer. Anaconda is a distribution. It is like a stadium.
We play.
Good. So what is Jupyter?
Jupyter is a platform where we do hands-on program.
Very good. So Jupyter playground, it's a web ID. Okay.
Okay.
And, let's see. Okay. What is a slightly confusing question, Satish? What is the difference between code and comment?
Code and comment. Code is an executable and comment is a non-executable, which we used to a comment which we used to include that to define it. What is going on? We include it, but it does not debug.
Excellent. More short and sweet answer, guys. It is executable.
Executable. Comments are not executable.
Very good. Comment is nothing but the description. Okay.
Yeah.
And let's say, come down here. Okay. What is a cup?
Cup is an object.
As simple as that. And what is an object?
Object is a collection of plates.
Object is a variable.
Variable content.
Object is a variable, as simple as that. Okay.
Okay.
And what is T?
Value of a variable. It may be an integer or float. It may be anything.
T is numeric data.
Yeah.
What is green tea?
Green tea is a string.
Green tea. What is ginger tea?
List.
Ginger tea is float.
Float. Okay.
Difference between integer and float.
Integer is a non-decimal and a float is a decimal.
What is coffee?
Coffee. String.
Good. String means?
String is a collection of similar data type.
Textual data.
Textual data.
What is a tray?
Tray is a collection of data.
Very
collection.
Tray is a group of objects and a group of different kinds of cups. What is the difference between what is the difference between list and an array?
List consists of different data types, whereas array is of similar data type.
Excellent. What do we mean by string is immutable?
String is immutable. we cannot change the values in string.
Good answer. So when we create a string, what happens? When we modify a string, what happens?
When we create a string, memory for a certain memory is allocated, and the data is stored in that. When we change the data, the location may be changed, I think so.
A new object is created. The
Yeah.
same object is not modified in strings.
Yeah.
Okay. By any chance, do you remember what is vectorized operation mean?
Vectorized operation means adding element by element.
Very good. Element by element by element. What is NumPy?
NumPy is a collection of libraries.
Collection of, it's more precisely a collection of functions or a group
functions.
Of
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. It's a package. It's a toolbox.
Extension of Python.
Very good. And let's see now. Let me come back here, Satish. You're doing good job there. Let me come back here and let's see if I can hide this one. So hide this one. Back to the subscription. Did you get a chance to get into the Jupyter notebook, Satish?
Yeah.
You could access it?
Yeah, I have accessed it.
And have you got a chance to practice a little bit?
While during the class I have practiced, but after I didn't get a chance.
Okay. Check for save. And did you have any problem? Were you successfully practicing them?
Yeah, I have successfully practiced them.
Very good. Give me 1 moment. I just want to show you the code, and I want to ask you a few questions, Satish. Just
okay.
Give me 1 moment here. Let's say close this one. Close this one. This NumPy. Matplotlib. Functions. Okay. This NumPy functions. Okay. Back here. So what is the Matplotlib, Satish?
Matplotlib is a toolkit which we use to draw.
Simple as that. For drawing, for painting, for visualization. Matplotlib is a package for visualization. Okay.
Yeah.
And let's see. What is a function?
If we want to include a repetition, we use functions.
Okay, repetitions. It's a group of lines of code.
A group of lines of code.
Okay, and it looks like this is taking time. Come back here. If this comes up. Mahal, a little bit of prints, coffees, Nescafes. What does what does type tell you?
Type tells us whether it is which type of data, whether it is an integer, float, or a string.
Very good. It tells you the data type. And let's say, what does str do?
Str, in this str, it converts a string. Whether we give an integer, it converts to string.
Very good. And who are you? You want a girl with a long hair, fair in color, or you want a girl with who plays cricket and shuttle?
Long hair and fair in color.
You want long hair, you're fair in color, and your parents are listening there.
It's not a problem, sir.
Okay, that's good. So they'll probably make a note of it. Okay, my boy is looking for a fair girl and a long hair. Why do you want a girl with a long hair and a fair in color?
It seems so beautiful.
Oh, sweet. I'm stopping it there. Those are some good answers, man. Good one there. And let's see. Let's talk about length. What does length tell you, Satish?
Length tells us how many characters are there. That means if we input a string of length, it tells the length.
Very good. Length is size. Okay.
Size.
What does number list of -2? So here is a list. What does number list of -2 give you?
-2 gives a value of 5. Value 5.
Last second.
Yeah, last second.
What does minus tell you?
Minus means left hand approach.
Left-hand approach. Okay, it is going in a reverse manner. Is the
Reverse
first
manner.
mantra. And when we are coming in a reverse manner, what does 2 tell you?
Last but one. Last second.
It's following a 1 based index.
Yeah.
Cool. So what does this give you?
Starting from index.
From beginning till?
15 index is for up to, that means it will exclude fifth index and print up to 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Up to fourth index.
Oh, are you there, Satish?
Yeah.
Sorry about that. Okay. So what does there is a mantra here? What do you remember what is the mantra of this one?
Excluding from 2 to including 2 and excluding 9.
Excellent. Inclusive versus exclusive.
Exclusive.
Left hand side versus right hand. What do you think is this doing? Double column 3.
Double column 3.
That's what I wanted to show you, but it looks like this is taking time here. And let me come back here.
Yeah, gap between it will print 3. I mean gaps equally spaced 3.
Good. Every third item it is going to print.
Third item, yeah.
Okay, and give me one moment here. Let me try to open the labs here another way. Just Lakshmi. And give me one moment, Satish. I'm just trying to lab another way. Very good.
Now,
Okay. So copy this one. Link address. Back here. Very good. Signing in. Resuming it. Signing in again, guys. I think I'm going to Cloudera lab. Okay. Jupyter Hub. One, 4, 7. Have any one of you been able to get into the Jupyter Hub today, guys? This is second or third time I'm trying. I'm having a little difficulty here. Have any one of you tried? Lavanya, you have already tried. Okay, good one there. Hopefully it is not a problem with mine. It's ready. And it's still taking time. Okay. So pause the share one moment. Back here. Put this back on. let me go back and share it again. Resume the share. Still waiting for it. Okay. So others are logging in successfully. So let me give a little time for that one. Let's proceed here, guys. Okay, let's see what else we have. Integer list. Satish, are you still there, buddy?
Yeah, sir.
What do you think is range, Satish? Tough question.
It will print from 0 to 9.
Excellent. More precisely, for now, think of range as giving us a range object. It is not printing.
Yeah, okay.
When does it print?
When we call the list.
Very good, excellent. So in other words, when you give it to the function list, for now we'll call list as a function. When you're giving to the function list, it is printing. That's what you want to keep in mind, okay? And what is the difference between append and extend, Satish?
Append will include the item which we want to insert at the beginning, whereas append inserts at ending.
One more time, buddy.
Append and insert means at the beginning. Append means at the end.
Excellent. What do you think is extend doing?
Extend is including all the above. That means tray of extend, small tray. It will include brew, Nescafe, all these things.
There you go.
Yeah, okay.
So most simple answer is it adds individual cups.
Yeah.
It doesn't add the tray, but it adds the individual cups into the tray. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
And let's see, there is a story of the extend, and then we started NumPy. By any chance, do you remember what is the mantra of import?
Not actually.
Okay.
Import which we used to include in.
Good answer. You already answered it. It is nothing but an include. If you're coming from a C or a C++ background, I think we use include there. So it is include. So you're opening a toolbox.
Yeah.
And when you open a toolbox or when you open a package, what is the purpose of that?
To use the functions which are already predefined.
Excellent. We can use the hammer and the screwdriver in the toolbox. We can use the functions in that one. So now here is a list object. And list plus 2, there is a problem. What is the problem?
We cannot add the plus 2 directly.
Very good. Why?
Because it is not a list element.
Okay. So in other words, more precisely, a list does not support an element by
element. Okay. Vector.
Very good. Okay. And it looks like I'm having some issue connecting to the lab here. Try one more time. Let me just send a message to Lakshmi also, guys. Hold on one moment. Oh, there you go. So it just came up. Okay, I don't need to. Okay, so there's the basics. There's the list, matplotlib and functions. Satish, sorry, buddy, too many questions, but just stay a little with me here.
Okay.
Good job there. And okay, back to matplotlib. We looked at a little bit of matplotlib. Then we discussed about what is the mantra of matrix, Satish?
Matrix is an integer array.
It's an integer array. Let's see. How about others? Can you help Satish a little bit, please?
Combination of rows and columns. I think. Hello.
Sorry about that. And let's see where we are. Matrix is a combination of rows and columns. It's a tray of similar trays, to be more precise. Satish,
Okay.
are you with me?
Yeah.
So what do we mean by tray of similar trays, Satish?
A tray which consists of similar data type.
Excellent. And what do you think is ones and zeros here?
It will create an array of 2 by 3 with ones.
Ones and zeros is a function.
Function
And
which are used to create a matrix with ones and zeros.
Good. It's creating a matrix and it is filling up the matrix with ones
and zeros.
Okay. What's happening in a head stack, horizontal stack?
It is printing the matrix in a horizontal manner.
It is printing the matrix in a horizontal.
Yeah.
Give a little help to the
combining these array 1 and array 2, it is printing.
Okay. So in other words, it's adding the cups individually or adding the cups horizontally.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's say, so here, what kind of an array is this one, Satish?
2-dimensional array.
Very good. So what is the first item in this array?
First item 1. Yeah, okay. 1, 2 is the first item.
Yes. Good one, Lavanya. Good one, guys. So that is the first item. That is what we need to keep in mind. And that is the story. And let's say, what is the problem in this function, Satish?
Colon, indentation missing.
Very good. Sorry, one more time.
Indentation missing, sir. Colon.
Indentation is there, buddy.
No, sir. After greet, we have to put colon, that is missing.
Colon is missing.
Yeah.
Okay? So this has the indentation, but here, sorry, place is here. This is where the indentation is missing. Catching it, buddy?
Yeah.
So what is the problem you think we are trying to solve by using this line of code, Satish?
We have to decrease the coding so that we use greet, but it is also a bit difficult. So that we use functions.
Very good. So how do you solve this kind of problem?
By using loops.
Very good. As simple as that. And okay, I think this is where we were talking a little bit about the escapes and sunrise. And I think let's go ahead and get started. Thank you, Satish. I appreciate that, buddy.
Thank you, sir.
You can mute yourself and you can turn off your video. We'll continue the journey from here. Let's say that is the plot figures. Back to functions. So we'll continue the journey on the functions back to, let me see if lab is up. Oh, there you go. Okay. That is the list. Refresh it. Guys, how's the labs today? Is it working fast? Is there any slowness or latency at your end? Can you have anybody, is it working fast for you? Lavanya, others? It's working fast? Thank you, guys. Good to know that you guys are getting onto the labs. Guys, everybody feeling comfortable so far? Could you give me a quick yes? Very good, guys. Who are my non-technical guys? I think Suresh was one of the non-technical. Rahul, you're doing okay, buddy? Niharika? Niharika, very good. You're doing okay, Niharika? Very good, guys. Let me come back here. Let's say the participants. Suresh, Rahul, Subbu. Ganesh and Lokesh also. Okay. I'll keep checking with these guys. Hopefully, if they are able to follow, others will also be.
Navin.
Yeah, go ahead.
Could you please remove my name as Satish?
Sati. Oh, okay.
Um,
Okay. So with that, let's put this back here. Okay, this is just for checking, guys. Nothing much here, nothing to worry, things like that. So let's come back. Wonderful, Suresh. Thank you, buddy. And let's come back to the functions. Oops. Santosh. So when we look at, it is NumPy. Back to functions, one step. I think we covered this one, not much of theory. I don't have much of theory. Before we go to the dictionaries, let's come back here. Okay, let's dig a little bit deep into the functions. There is Santosh house. The mantra of the mantra of a function, we're calling it as a house. So what do we do? Once you define a function, we're going to call the function, or once you create a house, you need to go into a house is a slightly simple way. Let's say 5. Hamara Bharat Mahan, printing it 5 times. Just one more time. We'll review it. Guys, if you're inside the function, we're inside the house. If you're outside the function, where are we? Good. If you're outside the function, we're in the park. Park means global, house means local. These are 2 mantras I will ask you to remember manually. Okay, so by default, we visualize this whole thing is a park. Oops. This is the global scope from a slightly Python perspective. And here we built a house for Santosh. So here's a house. So what is the first step? So what is the first step which we are doing in this house, guys? Can anybody tell me? I'll give you a hint. I'll put this here. Let's say this is the first step. So what does that mean? Satish, what do you think that means, buddy? You're giving an input that is the argument, as simple as that. Remember, house is like a mixie. It takes inputs, the vegetables and the fruits are nothing but the inputs of the arguments. So 5 is the input of the argument. We are giving it a cup. Then what is the next step, guys? When you see I equals to 0, what do you say? What's happening there? What does that mean, Lavanya? You're creating an object. There's a cup. And what are we doing? We're putting a 5. So what happens when we say while I is less than 5? When I is less than n? Okay, that's a slightly deep one. I won't stress you too much. Imagine or visualize we're going into a room. We're checking the condition. Is the green cup less than the blue cup? The answer is true. If it is true, we're saying Hamara Bharat Mahan. We're printing it. We're executing something. Then what is I equals to I plus 1 called? Increment. So you go back here, get rid of this, you add a 1 to it. That will become 1. Then what do we do again? You check the condition. After you put a 1, you go back inside the room. You check the condition. And again, you print Hamara Bharat Mahan and you keep repeating this. Until when? Until when do we repeat this? Until the condition is true, or more precisely, the condition is true. Okay, that's a slightly tough one. I'm just getting you familiar back with the house, the cups, the park, and the global scope and the local scope, guys. That is the story of the Santosh house. Let's see, back to Vidya's house. Let's see what is happening. Now take a look at this one, guys. There is a subtle difference between Santosh house and Vidya's house. What is the difference? The return statement. So Santosh house, you go into Santosh house, which is a function. This is a function which is only executing the code. It is not returning you anything. Whereas if you go into Vidya's house, it is also returning something. Pardon me. What is written? You can return an object. That object can be any kind of object. It can be a cup, a teacup, a coffee cup, or a complex cup or a complex object is what it is. So what can functions do? Not only can we execute, but we can also return the objects. Catching it, guys? Quick yes, please. As simple as that. We'll look at a few examples that will make it a bit more easy for you. You don't have to be perfect right away, but let's see. Let's dig into it. So back to red label is 0. Now notice, guys, what is special about red label is if you compare it with I equals to 0, what do you think is the difference between red label and I? Tough question. More precisely, I is an object or a cup inside the function, whereas red label is outside the function. If a cup is inside the function, it is inside the house, it is in the local scope. If a cup or an object is outside the function, it is in a global scope. Quick yes, please. Good. Okay. So let's say that is red label. Now come here. Here is Ravi's house. So in Ravi's house, what we are doing is, if you want to go into Ravi's house, he says, come with 2 cups, Brook Bond and Taj. And then Lipton is 0. So let's go ahead and execute Ravi and run the function. And notice this is what we get. So here is Ravi's house. Let's say come here, put them. Okay. And back to our 2. Start with this one. So here's Ravi's house. We need to go with 2 cups. Let's start with a Brook Bond cup and a Taj. We're going with a 1 and a 2. So let's put a 2 here. Let's put a 1 here. We're going with 2 cups. And the first step that we are doing after we go is we're creating a cup called Lipton. We're putting a 0. Then in the second step, we are incrementing. For some reason, we are adding, we have changed our mind, we are changing it to 1. Visualize it like this. Now take a look at this one. The third step is we're taking this Brook Bond cup, which has a 1. What you're doing is whatever is in Taj, put it into this one. Whatever is in Taj is here. Whatever is in Taj, which is here, put it into this one. Whatever is in Lipton, put it into here, which means that will become a 3. We're adding whatever is in Taj object and the Lipton object, so that becomes Brook Bond. So now if you print Brook Bond, we're getting a 3. Everybody catching that, guys? Quick yes, please. Cool. Okay. Okay, one more time. So put this back here. So this is Brook Bond. Here is Taj. If you want to go into Ravi's house, you need to go with 2 cups. The 2 cups are the 2 inputs. The 2 inputs are the arguments, Taku. Okay, and what is our argument? Well, there is the 2 arguments. And once we go inside the house, the first step is we are creating a Lipton object or a Lipton cup. We put a 0. Then we are changing our mind. We're putting a 1 into it. Then we are taking the Brook Bond cup. Take whatever is earlier, there was a 1. Now what do you do? Whatever is inside Taj, which is, let's say, what is inside Taj, you put it here and you add whatever is in Lipton. What will that be? That will become 3. And what's happening? You're printing Brook Bond. So now Brook Bond has 3 and that's what we're printing. Thakur catching it. Okay, that is one way to think of it or visualize it. Let's see. So now take a look at this, guys. Here is red label. Increasing the complexity, guys. Bear with me. And the red label is 0. So let's say no problem. Okay, but take a look at this. Come here. Say Brook Bond. Notice it gives you an error. Okay, so what is the problem, guys? The problem is by default, red label is in global context or in the park, whereas Brook Bond is a cup inside the house. What it means is, it's like, let's say, come back here, go to, choose this one. By default, everything is in global scope. This whole thing is in global scope. There's a big park inside which there is a house. Oops, one more time. What's happening? Oops. 2, 3, 4. That's a park, and inside the park there is a house. Now, where was red label? Let us choose red here. Here is red. Red label was here with a 0 inside it. So what we are doing is we executed the function here. Then what we are doing is you visualize as if somebody is going and seeing what is inside this object, and they're finding a 0. So red label has a 0, no problem. Okay. Now what do? Then after looking at red label, somebody is trying to go and access the cup inside this house, which is Brook bound. And what's happening? That's where we're getting an error. What is Python doing? Python is saying Brook bound is not defined. In other words, that's not a very friendly error message, but Python is not allowing you to access a cup in somebody's house. A cup in the park, anybody can access, but a cup in somebody's house, you cannot access. A cup in Ravi's house, you cannot access. What does that mean? You cannot access local objects in a global context is the technical mantra of it. Okay, so in other words, let's try one more thing. Here is Taj. Taj is a cup in the house, you cannot. Here is Lipton, you cannot. What are these? These are cups in somebody's house, cups in Ravi's house. An outsider cannot access. If there is a cup in the park, you can access, you can drink water in it or coffee in it. But if you cannot take a cup in somebody's house. What is cup in the house? Cup in the house is a local object, is local. Cup in the park is a global. Everybody catching that, guys? Quick yes, please. Good. So let's say, come back here. That is the story of the Brook bound and the Taj. And a same example, but I'm just using a different names here. Instead of Brook bound Taj, I'm using A1, B1. Instead of red label, I'm using num1, num1. As simple as that. And I'm trying to do similar things, guys. Okay. But let's say, okay, I'll come back to that. Let's go into another house. Now, take a look at this, guys. Here is the house for Haima. If we go inside the house for Haima, we are saying Bharat, we are saying Mahan. Then in the next step, we are coming out of the house of the Haima and we are printing Hamara. So let's try that. Take a look at this. Only Hamara is printed, Bharat and Mahan is not printed. Why?
Function call.
Good answer. So in other words, we have built a house for Haima, but we did not call it. So in other words, you say Haima and say print Bharat Mahan Hamara. So in other words, it's not just enough if you just create a function or house, you need to go inside the function. You need to go inside the house. How do you do that? You call the function. Quick yes, please. Cool. And that is Haima and Hamara. Back to Haima. Catch it, guys. Tell me what is the problem. Please take a guess. The hint is on the screen.
Indentation.
Indentation. Say your name and answer the question, buddy.
Satish.
Very good, Satish. Okay, so in other words, the same thing. Run it. Notice no problem. Python doesn't complain. So what is happening, guys? Let's say, come back here. Put this here. These two, for them, they have an indentation here, they have an indentation here. These two belong to this house. Belong to this house means they are inside the house. They are inside the house means that is their local scope. These two statements are in the local scope. Whereas here, what is happening is this statement does not have an indentation. So this is in the scope of the path, in the global scope. You cannot, this is more of a syntax error. You cannot, Python is not allowing you to write a function with one line without indentation and one line with indentation. It is like you came inside the house, you went outside the house to the park, and now again you're trying to come inside the house. That is not Python. Python is not allowing. If you come inside the house and you go outside the house, you cannot come inside. Is another way to think of it. A slightly deep one, maybe a slightly tough one. But for now, I will force you to remember. What is this one? This has indentation. Indentation is telling that it belongs. This statement is belonging to the context of the function. It is not belonging to the context of the notebook. It belongs to the house. It does not belong to the park. It belongs to the local scope. It does not belong to the global scope. Everybody with me? Quick yes, please. Okay, so that is Haima, and let's see what else we have. Here is Abhi, Bharat Mahan Hamara. One more time. Let's run it. And one more time we are saying only Hamara. Why? Because we didn't go into Abhi's house. Bharat Mahan. So you need to call the function, guys. Let's see what is happening in Sanjay's house. Okay, let's see. Catch it, guys. What is the problem here? Slightly tough question, guys. I'm increasing the complexity. Just bear with me. We'll try to simplify it more and with a few more examples, but bear with me. It's a simple answer, guys, but a tough question. Return is outside, or in other words, indentation. One more time. You indent it. No problem now. Return is used inside the function if you're out, which means only when you're coming out of the house, you need to return a gift. If you're in the park, you don't need to return the gift. In other words, the technical mantra is return is not used in global context. It is only used in local context. It is only used in the house. You don't use return when you are outside the house. You use it only when you're inside the house. Quick yes, please. Cool. So back to Katyayani, again print Bharat Mahan Hamara. So now take a look at this, guys. When we do this, here is Katyayani, Bharat Mahan are getting executed, but Hamara is getting returned. So in other words, let's say run this one. So now what we'll do, we'll say here is Katyayani. Katyayani. There you go. Notice the difference. When you print something, notice how the output is getting displayed. This is the output which is getting displayed. But when you return an object, what it is doing, it is giving you Hamara. Why is that important? To understand that, let's change Katyayani's house a little bit. We'll put the print back here. Now, what we'll do, we'll call. Here is Katyayani. And let's run it. Notice that. Notice the difference. When you say return, it is the object which is coming. When you're coming out of Katyayani's house, or let's say take Sanjay, when you're coming out of Sanjay's house, he's giving you a Nescafe coffee cup. Okay. Whereas here in Katyayani's house, you're printing. You're not returning. You're just printing. Here you're executing. Here you're executing and returning is what is happening. Catching it, guys. Revati, quick yes, please. Cool. Okay, that is just the confusion. So Sanjay is returning a Nescafe coffee cup. Katyayani is just executing. She's not returning a coffee. She's not giving you a coffee cup, is what it is. So what we'll do, we'll say the mantra return. The mantra of return is giving a gift. When you're coming out of somebody's house, you're giving a gift. That is what is the mantra of return in a slightly friendly way. We'll try to keep it in mind for a few more days, guys. Okay. So let's say change let's say another concept here. 10. What is 10, guys? What is 10? 10 is numeric data. And type we just discussed, it gives you the data type. It's an integer. Cool. Let's say, now come here, take a look at this. Here, what is special about 10 is I hard-coded 10. But let's say, take a look at this. Now say input is a function. You say enter a number. Let's say we'll give 1, 2. And what's happening? That is getting printed. So what is in, yeah, okay. Okay, guys. Let's take a short break here, guys. Today I'll be taking till, let's say 12 p.m. As I told yesterday, I have another client visit going on. So let's say we'll take, shall we take a 5-minute break or a 10-minute break, guys? What do you like? Okay. So let's regroup exactly by 10:05, guys. I won't stress you. I'm going to mute myself. Okay, guys. Back here. Are you guys back, guys? Can you give me a quick yes? Thank you. Sorry about that. Okay. So let's see. Back to input, guys. What is input? Input is a function. And what we are doing is earlier, we have hard-coded 10 here. But now, what input is doing is input is allowing us to ask a user to enter a number which they would like. As simple as that. So you enter a number that is getting saved into this variable or into this object. So this is a cup. Whatever you enter, we're saving that as a content inside the cup is one way to think of it. Okay. So let's see back here. And now take a look at this, guys. Back to X is 12, but notice the type of X is, notice it's a string object. What we entered is 12, which is a numerical data. But what is Python taking it as? It is taking it as a string or a textual data. It is not taking it as an integer. So in other words, more precisely, it is the input function. What it is doing is you enter anything, it is taking it as a coffee cup, not as a teacup, which is it is taking it as a textual data, not as a numerical data. Okay, guys. So let's say, take a look at this. Come here, enter a second number. It is while, let's say we'll enter 1, 2, 2, 3. So again, it is taking, notice the quotes. What do we do? Let's print the sum of them. That is 1, 2, 2, 3. 1, 2, 2, 3 is because it's concatenating the two strings. When you try to concatenate the two strings, X plus Y is a concatenation, which is going on here. Okay, so let's say, we'll one more time take a look at the input, but this time we're using the int function. If you enter, let's say 1, 2, notice no, it does not have the quotes. If we say, what is type of X, notice it gives you int, which means just like str function, int function is converting a string to an integer or a coffee cup to a teacup is one way to think of it. Everybody with me, guys, quick yes, please. So notice we're going to run this 3 lines of code, enter a number that is going to be Y, save it in Y. Let's say that is 2, 3. And now X plus Y, 12 plus 23 is 35. So it is not treating it as numeric data. So input is a function which is asking a user rather than hard coding, we are dynamically entering it. And int is a function which is converting textual data to numerical data. A couple of things to keep in mind. Can be hands-on on this one. Oh, okay, good idea. I forgot about that. Okay. So let's say, Suresh, you want to come online, buddy? Would you be able to do the hands-on? If it's okay with you? Or anybody else, guys? Can you just log into your lab, share your screen so that others can see? I'll send you the code, you execute, and we'll try to understand that. Quick yes, please. Okay, good. Satish is there. Let's say, Satish, I'll make you the co-host and see if you're able to log in. So there is Satish. Here is Satish More, co-host. I'm going to stop sharing my screen. Thank you, Suresh, for reminding that. Satish, share your screen, buddy. Very good. And let me come back here. So that is the story of the X and Y. Separator is X dot Y. Okay, type of X, type of Y. We've already looked at that. Okay, so hello favorite, this I think I can skip it. Okay, So back to a few advanced lists and things like that one more time, guys. I'm going to come back to lists here. Let's say here is numbers random. And I'm going to send you the code here, Satish. Bring up your lab buddy while I'm copying this one. Okay, good. Say everyone in meeting. There you go. So the first step, you copy that one, execute that, please, Satish. Good. Shift enter will actually create a new cell for you. If you're doing a control enter, it is just, it's not going to create a new cell for you. Oh, sorry, you're waiting for me. Okay. Okay, I thought I pasted that. There you go. Next one. And next one again. Execute it step by step. And Satish, unmute yourself, buddy. Oh, sorry. Oh, sorry. I haven't unmuted myself. Okay. And look, there we are. So numbers dot. So what do you think is numbers sort doing, Satish?
Where, sir? Numbers dot.
Numbers random sort. What is happening there?
It is sorting an array in increasing order.
Good. After it is sorting, what is happening?
It is printing.
It is reinitializing itself.
Yeah.
In other words, the original tray, it is
rearranged.
Modifying the original tray. Okay,
yeah.
buddy?
Yeah, okay.
And okay, let's say catch it. Execute that, please. Explain, Satish.
Yeah, Navin. It's printing in a reverse order.
It's printing in a descending order.
Descending order.
Okay, now here comes a tough one. Let's see, I think we have not covered the tuples bit. I should take this one. Sort. One moment, Satish. Nescafe, back to functions. Sunrise. There is dictionary, there's a classes. There is a friends, okay. Put this back here. Okay, here's a slightly tough one. We'll start with this one. Okay, copy that, Satish. Okay. Scroll your screen a little bit up, Satish. Little bit down, just a little bit. Yeah, that's it. And leave it like that. Now what I'll do is I'll take a screenshot of this. Let me snap it. Put this here. Then now I'm going to share my screen for one moment. I'll explain one thing and I'll give you back the control, Satish. Okay, guys. So let's see. For the sake of simplicity or discipline, we had a tray. Say there are a few cups. 2. Here's a 7. And here's a 2. There are a few cups in the tray. When we did a sort here, what is happening is, let's say 2. This is 7. And here is 2 again, which will leave it as a pink. Let's give another one. This is a 4. So this is in random order. What sort is doing is, it is actually going to this tray. It's putting 2 here, then comes 4. Say, come here. Oh, this looks. So here is 7. We'll put a 2 here. 2, 2, 4, and a 7 here. So in other words, numbers random, if you now go back and see, it is actually modified. So it is modifying the original tray. Why it is important in understanding this, we'll try to understand in a bit in the coming hours or in the coming days and things like that, guys. But that is one thing I wanted to actually make you understand, that it is modifying the original tray. Now come back here. Notice this one. It prints keys and values. Okay. Okay, we'll come back to that one location. So now take a look at this. What we have is students. Students, John 95, Aaron 92, David 100. What are these three student names? Maybe their scores or maths, some kind of marks and things like that, guys. Okay. But notice there is something slightly different, which is an open bracket. We have a square bracket and we also have an open bracket there, a normal bracket. What is that one? That is also a tray. Okay, think of this. The pink tray is a tray where you can modify it. But a green tray is a tuple, a tray which cannot be modified. What is that? That is called a tuple. We'll spend a lot of time in the coming up days on the tuples, but a quick introduction to explain this example. For now, a tray which cannot be modified is a tuple. It is exactly same as list, everything. You can have teacups and coffee cups and things like that. But it is a tuple, guys, okay? Okay, so now what is special here is, come back here, choose this one. So here is a list object. This one is outer object. Inside that, there is a first tuple. Let's put, here is John. Put John here. It's a J. And then we have 95. Let's give this, maybe, let's that one. Okay, let's use this one. John and 95. Repeat the same process. Just start with the green. So another tuple, Aaron, and another tuple, David. We'll use this one. This is Aaron. This is Aaron. And the next one is David. Here's David. For a moment, let's visualize something like this, guys. Okay, now what's happening is, come back here. I will execute this one because this will take a little bit of time. Rather than giving it to Satish, I'm going to explain this here. So there is students. It's a tray of 3 trays with one coffee cup and teacup. A list object with 3 tuples with a string object and a numeric data. An integer object is what it is, guys. Okay, that's what that is. So now what we'll do, we'll sort it. Notice students.sort. Oh, okay. There's actually a couple of advanced things happening. I'll give you a quick introduction of Lambda function. And let's try to understand this. So notice when we say sort, this time we have given a Lambda function. I will spend some good amount of time. Lambda functions are slightly advanced functions. They're simple concepts, but slightly advanced function, guys. For now, Lambda function is a function which is, it is a function without a name. They're also called anonymous functions. So what we're doing is we are saying sort key equals to. When we say sort key equals to lambda x means, what that is doing is, it is going to this tray. It is going to pick up the first item in this tray. In the pink tray is the green tray. So it will pick up this tray. And let's say, come here, oops, x of 0. So in this tray, the first item is going to be John. This will be the first item. So what it is going to do is visualize, it's going to pick up John. It's going to, oops. Okay, we'll pick up John here. Here is John. It's going to put it here. Then it's going to, because you said x of 0, it's just picking up John. It just picks up John. Then what it does is it goes to the second item, which is Aaron. So this Aaron is going to be picked up. So in other words, more precisely, what will happen, guys? Put this back. This is John. Let's give this Aaron. Aaron is an orange. And let's give, what is the last one? Last one is David. Let's give him a black. It's hardly seeing. It's a green, and we'll select this one. Give me yellow. Okay. So now, since we are saying x of 0 in the code, where is it? since we are saying x of 0. So here it is. Okay, originally, here's the tray. We'll give, there is John's tray. Next we have Aaron's tray. Next we have David's tray. Now, what we are doing is when you say sort, you sort it based on the first item of the first item. This is, you take each item, in that item, you take the first item. So each item is going to be the tray, the blue tray, the green tray, and the yellow tray. In that, the first item is going to be the John, the David, and the Aaron and the David. That is what it means, guys. So what it does is it picks up John. Visualize for a moment. It picked up John. It put it here. Then what it does is it comes to the next item, which is the green tray. And what does it do? It brings it here. Now between John and Aaron will go to the left-hand side because A will come. A comes before John. It is going to put it here. Then what it is going to do? It is going to pick up David. Again, it will compare with John. With D and J, it will come somewhere in the middle. So let's move this one here. Let's move this one here. So now what we have Aaron here, David here, John here, and you take this one, you put this here. What is that? Notice. Come here. This is Aaron. This is David. This is John. So earlier, John, Aaron, David, what was the order of the students has now changed to Aaron, David, and John. And what did we sort it based on? We have sorted it based on the first item. More precisely, take each item. In each item, take the first item is what is going on. Everybody with me, guys? Quick yes, please. This is a slightly tough one. I will revisit this one, but since for academic reason, I'm just about to explain something. So I'm giving this concept here. The use of lambda. We'll talk in detail about lambda in the coming up days, Lavanya, but lambda is an anonymous function. A function without a name, generally one-line functions are referred as anonymous functions. As simple as that. We say this is a function, it does not have a name, it is returning again. Okay, so in other words, if I have to repeat it again, let me quickly try it. Let me get rid of these things. What it does here. Okay, so one more time, we are picking up the John's tray, we put it here. That is X. X is going to become the John's tray, that is that one. In that one, you're accessing John, and that is based on which we are. Okay, then it's going to pick up Aaron. Between Aaron and John, Aaron is going to come on the left-hand side. Then it's going to pick up David. It will compare it with John. If you compare David and John, David will come on the left-hand side. Then it will compare with Aaron. It will come on the right-hand side. So what is it? It's now becoming Aaron, David, and John. And that is what is going here. Lavanya, are you catching it? Oh, not clear, still not clear. Okay, let's try one more time. So now take a look at this. Instead of x of 0, we'll try x of 1. So students.sort. Copy this one back here. Let's run it. Compare ASCII values. Behind the scenes, that is what is happening, Satish. Okay, A is less than D and D is less than J is what is happening. So now what is happening is we are taking this one. Originally we had John, Aaron, and David. Now we have Aaron, John, and David, but this time we compared it based on this one. So let's say one more time, let's come back here. Let's see if we can visualize this. Put this here. Put this here. So here is the original tray. Say choose this one. And here is John. Here's John. Let's say here is Aaron. Cool. And here is David. These are the items. These are the persons. Now each person has two components inside. The first component is his name. The second component is his marks. First component is Aaron. Second component is a mark. First component, second component for the sake of explanation. Now what is happening here is lambda x means visualize it's picking up the first student, brings him here. That becomes x. Okay. Once, now it is asking, hey, what is your one? One means for Python 2. Okay, it's asking what is your second component and what does he get? He gets 95. 95 is his second component. So bring that 95 and put it here. Then what does it do? It will then pick up Aaron. Let's move him here. So here is Aaron. Now it's asking, hey, what is your second component? And what is it? That is 92. 92 is this one. So now what does it do? It brings it here. Is 92 less than 95? Yes. Then what you do is this comes on the left-hand side. So what that means is this comes on the left-hand side means it's going to take Aaron. It's going to put it on the left-hand side of John. So the pink one is John. This one is Aaron. Let's also give him a head. It's putting Aaron on the left hand. So then what it does is it picks up, it asks David, come here. So David comes here. So give it a moment. Here we go. One more time. There is David. And what does it do? It takes the component, which is, let's give him a 100. Oops. This one, we'll choose this one. Is 100. Choose this one. So there it is. It now compares with what? With first it will compare with John 95. Is 100 less than 95? No, it is not less than 95. It is greater. So it is kind of visualized, putting it this side on the right hand side. In other words, let's put Aaron here. Let's put his head separately. There is John and there is David. Okay, or more precisely here, guys. Here is Aaron. Oops. Put that there. Next, John is 95, 95, 92, 95. That's John. And here is David. What's that? All of them inside a big tray, which is a list object. A list object with 3 tuples. Each item inside it has 2 components. With x of 0. So the same thing with x of 0 is, if you first okay, put John here, put Aaron here, and let's put, what is this one? This is David. David here. If you, so you start with John. The first component is J. Let's say here is J, is the first component. Then what will it do? It's picking up Aaron, brings him here. Buddy, are you less than me or are you greater than me? So Aaron is nothing but A. A is less than J. So what is it putting? It is putting it on the left side of Aaron. Oops. Let's put this one here. It is putting Aaron here on the left side of John, Suresh. Then it picks up David. Oops. Brings him here. It compares it with John. You're less than J, so it puts it here. Then it compares with Aaron. You're on the right-hand side. You're greater than. So what is it? That's what is. This is a combination of this one, Aaron, David, and John. If you say x of 0, it is asking, it is comparing it with the first component of the student. If you're saying x of 1, it is comparing with the second component of the student, Suresh. X is the student object. X is like the student, the tuple object. The tuple object has 2 items, which I'm referring as to component. Okay, so in other words, let's say one more time, get rid of this one, get rid of this one, this one, this one, this one, and here is this one. Get rid of this, get rid of this. A tuple. Another tuple. Another tuple. 3 tuples. These are nothing but x. X refers to the items. For the pink tray, the items are these. Okay, once you pick up the item, that is x, there are 2 components inside that. So x of 0 refers to the first component. Oops. X of 0 refers to the first component, and x of 1 refers to the second component. Are you catching it, Revati? Yellow is x, blue is x of 0, and green is x of 1. Revati, Suresh, are you catching it, guys? Cool, let's see. So reverse equal to true. If you're still confused, that's okay. We'll revisit this one. Still not getting, okay. No problem. Reverse equal to true is putting in a descending order. If you don't say reverse, it's putting in ascending order. 92, 95, 100. Now it's coming 100, 95, 92. That's a touch of it, okay? So we'll revisit this, guys. I'll re-explain this one, maybe after a few more examples. It's a slightly tough one. Let's take, maybe what I should do is, I'll cut this here so that when you're practicing, you can also kind of keep this in the mind, length of tray. And let's put it here for sake of simplicity. Numbers advanced list, numbers random. Okay. Okay, so back to Satish. I'll give you back the control and see if you can spend a little time on this one. Again, sorry about that. That was a slightly tough one. Go to participants. Let's see, where is Satish? Satish, you're already co-host. Okay.
Yeah.
Stop the screen, share your screen. Let's see what I have. To start with the T tray. Chat window. Okay. There is a T tray. Cool. Then we'll send a coffee tray. Coffee tray. You have kids at home, don't you? And let's see what happens now. Take a look at this, guys. Okay, try this, Satish. Good, cool. You're getting an error, which is good one. So what is happening is for coffee in tray. And if you stop it there, Python is not understanding. So here is the next line. Try this one. Okay. Notice pass is in red color. So it's a slight indication that you need to give a space there. The indentation is not proper. So see if you can re-indent it. Okay, you can put it back to the normal. Do a delete and then remove the spaces and then do an indentation. Do a shift. Yeah, there you go. Not a space, a tab. Yeah, there you go. So now it's in green color, which means it's good. Now execute this. So gentlemen, ladies, what we are doing is this is a for loop. There are 3 coffee cups, Nescafe, Brew, and Sunrise in a tray. What we are doing is here, we are saying pass. What is this? This is an empty for loop. Pass means do nothing. Okay, pass means do nothing, as simple as that. And okay, as simple as that, guys. Thinking 2 things here, but something I will ask you to manually remember. Now, let's say Nescafe Brew Sunrise is already there. We've given this. Now take a look at this. Cool. Execute that, Satish. Okay. So notice what is happening is it is printing Nescafe Brew and Sunrise in 3 lines. We have 3 coffee cups. It's printing in 3 coffee cups. Okay. So what is happening is visualize for a moment. It's picking up each cup. For coffee in tray means it is going to the tray. Visualize as if it is printing It picks up Nescafe, prints it, then picks up brew, then prints it, and then picks up sunrise, and then prints it. Satish, explain in your words, please. Explain the for loop in your words.
Hello.
Yeah, try to explain the for loop, buddy.
If in for loop it is going from 0, that means from Nescafe, it is starting from Nescafe as 0th index, and it is printing. And then after it, in for loop, it is incrementing, and then it is going to the brew, and that and the printing is going on like going on.
Good answer. So one more time, let me come back here. This one here. And it's back to Zoom meeting. I'm going to share the screen. Say yes. Say share. So start with this one. Here's a tray. Start with a Nescafe. We'll give this one. Brew. Here's brew. Here's sunrise. We'll give sunrise. Let's say give. So now what for loop? The way for loop is working is visualize. It picks up this one. At a slightly simpler level, it picks up coffee. So what is coffee? Coffee is now becoming a local variable, and what we are doing is we're just printing it. Nescafe gets printed. So that is Nescafe. When you print, every print is going into next line is a small thing to be kept in mind. Next it picks up brew. So now your local variable is becoming brew, print brew. So put it below it. So here, let's put it here. Then you pick up sunrise. That's becoming sunrise and print sunrise. That's another way to visualize that. Okay, I'm going to stop the share. Share the screen again. Share your screen, buddy. Everybody with me on that? For loop, quick yes, please. Okay, as simple as that, guys. And back to the chat window. Let's see. Type it or paste it, Satish. Send another one. Put in the tray. Then how it can print Nescafe and brew. So Nescafe is a coffee, brew is a coffee, sunrise is a coffee. These are 3 coffees. They are the names of the coffees and of the coffee companies. When I say coffee, I'm referring to Nescafe brew. So what is coffee? Coffee, okay, I see what you mean. Coffee is acting like a local variable. That's a good question, Lavanya. Coffee is acting like a local variable in the scope of, so in other words, Satish, just type in coffee in the next line. COFFEE, coffee, and execute it, shift enter. Oh, I think, did we already put coffee somewhere? Oh, what is it? It's coming as, we reversed it. Okay. So now coffee is becoming, acting like the global variable. Okay, I will not go into local and global, but more precisely, for coffee in reverse or in tray, what is coffee? Coffee is acting like a variable, which it has the latest one inside it is what is going on, Lavanya. Inside the for loop, visualize for a moment. Coffee is an object which is created. And what's happening? Nescafe is put into it, then brew is put into it, then sunrise is put into it. So what is coffee? Coffee now is acting like actually a cup in the park or the global variable. Whatever is the last thing which was put, because we did a reversed of tray, Nescafe is there, is the last one. It is now sunrise, brew, and Nescafe because we are saying reversed of tray. Catching it, Lavanya? What happened in the 11th and the 12th inputs? Scroll up a little bit. 11th, for coffee in tray. What is happening is that is just a looping. You're taking each cup in the tray, and what you're doing, pass. Pass means do nothing. That is 11th point, Suresh. Okay, so let's say, come back here and see if I can take it one more time. Put this here. Let's say for coffee. So the 11th one, we already have a coffee tray. Nescafe. There's a brew and a sunrise. Let's go this one. Okay, so what this is doing, it picks up coffee here. So coffee becomes Nescafe. Then what you're doing nothing, which means you're just putting it back. Then pick up brew, put it back. Pass means do nothing, then pick up. So for coffee means, this is how what is happening. Suresh, are you with me? Suresh, how about Lavanya, are you with me? Oh, sorry. Where is it? Okay, I'm looking at a different window. Oh, acha, yeah, my screen is not shared. Oh, sorry, I didn't share my screen. Let's say share it again. Oh. Here. So there is a tray. For coffee, pass means do nothing means it's putting it back. Then you pick a brew. So it picked up brew. This is how the for loop is working. When the for loop works, this is how it works. Pick it up. Pass means do nothing. And there is a chat window here. There you go. So there is no condition in the loop. Right now, there is no condition in the loop. That is the 11th one. 12th one, what it is doing, it picks up coffee, which is Nescafe. That becomes Nescafe. You're printing Nescafe. Then the same thing. You pick up brew, and now coffee is becoming brew. And that you're printing. Then you pick up the sunrise. That is what is happening. Quick, yes, Suresh, Lavanya. Okay. So that is the story of that part of it. And let's see. Then we did a reverse. When you do a reverse of tray, guys, so if you notice here, for coffee in reverse of tray, you visualize something like this is happening. What it is doing is it is taking this one, let's say, you visualize as if it is pasting it. It's creating a new tray. It's putting it in this order. And now what's happening is it first picks up sunrise. So the first sunrise is getting printed. Next, it picks up the brew. Brew is getting printed. Next, it picks up Nescafe. Nescafe is getting printed. Quick yes, please. So whenever we talk about the for loop, it picks up each cup in the tray is what I want you to visualize. Okay, guys? Okay, so let's come back here. Now, let me also explain a few more here. So here is list, 1, 2, 3. One more time, this is a tray of 3 teacups. Tray of 3 teacups. Numeric data, let's say come back here. Now take a look at this. For cup in list, what are we doing? The same thing. This time we're picking up the cups, the teacups, and printing 1, 2, 3. Everybody with me, quick yes, please. Are you able to visualize the 3 teacups? Okay, next here is now take a look at this, guys. Increasing the complexity, a tough one for today. Temp list is an empty list. For cup in list, this is an empty tray. Then you're going back to the previous tray, which is a tray of the 3 cups, 1, 2, 3. What you're doing is you pick up each cup and you're adding it to the empty cup. And here is the new tray temp list. So take a look at this. Let's run this one. Notice now the new tray, okay, is 1, 2, 3. The old tray is already 1, 2, 3. The new tray temp list is 1, 2, 3. So which means, let's say, come here. 2, 3. Originally we had a tray. Let's put 3 teacups there. Say cup 1, cup 2, cup 3. Then we created in the next step, what we are doing is, let's say, choose this one. We're creating a new tray. So list is this tray and temp list is an empty tray. Now what we are doing is, there's a 1, there's a 2 here, there's a 3 here. You're picking up this cup and you're taking it into this tray. You're adding it here, which means indirectly, you're taking the one, you're adding it here. So when you pick up this one, the cup is becoming 1. You're saying add this cup, append at the end, there is nothing here, so 1 gets added here. Repeat the same thing. Pick up 2, cup is becoming 2, add it to the empty tray. Pick up 3, cup becomes 3, add it to the empty 3, append is adding it then. So now if you see templates, what is there? There are 3 cups there. From one tray, you have added it into another tray is what is a simple thing. At a slightly high level, that's a simple operation. You just copying and pasting it into another tray. Everybody with me? Quickest please. But there is a reason why I'm trying to do this. Okay, so now come here. Now, gentlemen, ladies, increasing the complexity, take a look at this. Ideally, copy this one. Take a look at line 1, line 2, line 3, line 4, line 5. Roughly 5 lines of code. Take a look at this. Notice when we run this 5 lines of code, one more time, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Run 5 lines of code. You get the output 1, 2, 3. Notice 1 line of code. You're exactly getting the same output. What is this? This is called list comprehension, a slightly advanced topic. Here, so let's snap it. Put this here, put this here. Put this and let's say select this one. So start with this one. Here is a original tray. Then we created a empty tray, second step. And then we started taking each copy, each cup and added it into this one is what we have seen. Input 38, okay. So that's what I'm trying to explain. Give me one moment here. Let me get rid of this and get rid of this. Okay. So before I go back to the 38 guys, let me try to explain this. So what we did here is, this is called list comprehension. This is more of a slightly compact way, a pattern-oriented way of writing the code. Slightly, people with slightly experience in Python and things like that, you will see most often they will write 1 line of code. Why? Because instead of writing 5 lines of code, we have reduced it to 1 line of code. This is a modern way of writing the code. And most of the times you will see people writing this kind of code. This is called list comprehension. So in other words, what is happening is, notice a for loop. What is a for loop? You have taken this for loop, simply you have plugged in here. Okay, now what is this? What is happening here is, choose back here. List is our tray. There were 3 cups in the tray. So here is 1, here is 2, here is 3. What is happening is, the for loop is picking up this cup. It is starting from the left-hand side of the pink tray. Now visualize this one. And then what does it do? From the cup, from there, from right-hand side, it is moving to the left-hand side. Generally, our code goes from left-hand side to right-hand side. But what is happening in list comprehension is, we are starting somewhere in the middle. From middle, it is jumping to the right. From the right, it is coming to the center. From the center, it is jumping to the left. That is a cup. So this is a green cup, let's say, that is 1. Let's say this is blue, this is 2. Let's give this a 3. So now it has taken the cup. What does it do? Notice from here, it is going to add to the list on the left-hand side, which means you visualize it's maintaining a list here on the left-hand side. So what did it do? Originally, it was here. Okay. And so let's say, put this back here. Put this back here. This here. Get rid of this. Get rid of this one. This one. Okay. So it starts somewhere in the middle. The list comprehension is starting somewhere in the middle. From there, it is jumping to the right-hand side, which means it is going to the tray. Once it goes to the tray, it picks up, goes to the tray and picks up the cup. That is the green one. Now, what is it doing? It is returning it from here, from middle to the left-hand side. From left-hand side, it is taking it, it is putting here. Then what does it do? It repeats the same process. Go to the tray, the cup becomes a blue cup. Take the cup, add it to the tray on the left-hand side. Then repeat the same process. Pick this up, put it in the left-hand side, add it to the tray. What is happening? That is the new tray with 1, 2, 3. What is one line of code in a slightly patternized, in a short and sweet way is doing is what that 5 or 6 lines of code is doing is one way to think of it. This is called list comprehension. So what is happening is here we're somewhere starting in the middle, going to the right hand side, and then coming to the left hand side. Generally, the code executes from left to right, whereas here we're actually executing somewhere from right hand side to left hand side is what is happening. One way to think of it. Now, okay. So before I take a confirmation, let me go back here. Input 38. What is 38? Input 38, please. Suresh, what is your question, buddy?
Naveen, can you explain input 38?
This one now? Okay, let me see. Back here. So okay, let me do a little bit of cleanup here. What we have here is exactly
total messy.
What's
we are not able to understand what is happening inside the loop.
Oh, okay. Let's say one more track. Here is list. Here is 1. Here is 2. Are you with me so far, Suresh? Suresh,
yes.
Is it you?
Yes, Naveen.
So this is the first step. You created a tray with 3 cups. Then you're creating an empty tray. Creating an empty tray, which is this one, second step. Now what you're doing is you're picking up, the for loop is picking up 1, that becomes 1. You're adding it here. In the next step, you're adding it. Append means you're adding it to this tray. Repeat the same thing. That cup is becoming, the 2 is becoming the second cup, add it to this tray. Pick up this one, add it to the third tray. Suresh, are you with me?
Yes, Naveen.
So what is that? When you print the temp layers, this is nothing but that tray. Catching it, buddy?
Yes, Naveen.
So what is this one? This is roughly five lines of code. Is what it is. Now what we are doing is the same thing we have written in 1 line of code. What is happening? The same thing, which is, so if I put it back here, let's say I put this back here, put the cups back. So the first step is goes to the tray and then picks up the cup. And then what does it do? It is taking the cup. You can do any kind of manipulation, which will do more complex manipulations in a bit. It takes this cup, add it to the tray on the left hand side. Repeat the same. This becomes a cup. Take this cup, add it to the left hand side list. Then take this cup, add, this is cup. You're just keeping the cup as cup and add it to this one. So this is this one, which is same as that one, which is same as this one. So what 5 lines of code we have written here has been reduced to 1 line of code. And what is that? We are getting the same output. This is a more compact way and an advanced way of writing the for loop. Tough one there. Suresh.
Yes, Naveen. I got it.
Good. Sham, we'll look at a lot more examples, guys. Don't worry about that. This is a slightly advanced one. I'm just giving you a touch of it today. In the coming up days, we'll almost look at 1 or 2 examples of these things, and these things will become much more simple and easy for you. Okay, so that is the story of the teacups. Let's now take a look at this, guys. Let's see what is happening. We have 3 coffee cups, Nescafe, Brew, and Sunrise. Now notice this, guys. Let's say back to here, tray. Here's the tray. Say scroll down here. 3 coffee cups. Now notice what is slightly interesting is if length of tray is greater than 0, print the length is not empty or the tray is not empty, which is true. What's happening here is a touch of if loop, if block to be more precise. So I come here, choose this one. If length of tray is greater than 0, yes, tray already has 3 cups. Our tray has 3 cups inside it. So what's happening? It is true. If it is true, then it is going inside the if block or the if loop. It's something you want to tell yourself. If it is not true, then it will not go inside it. So in other words, let's come back here. Let's say tray, and let's say underscore empty. equals to empty tray. So say underscore empty is greater than 0, then go inside this loop is what it is. So let's try this one, guys. Maybe we are taking an empty tray. Is it greater than 0? Is the length, is the size of it greater than 0? No. Oh, just give me a 1 minute break, Revati. I'll give you a break. Let me complete this one. This is an empty tray. There are no cups inside it. So what will happen? Nothing will happen. Notice if we run this one, notice nothing is going to happen. Okay. So what do we do? That is where you put something in the tray. Let's put 3 coffee cups. 3 coffee cups. Now check the size of it. Is it greater than 0? Sorry about that. So I put this here. So now take a look at this. The list is not empty. So in other words, if the condition is satisfied, it is going inside the scope of the if block. This print statement is inside the scope of the if block. Is another slightly technical way of saying it. I will not convince you with that. Let's take a short 10-minute break and regroup again. Okay, guys, 9-minute break, 10:56. So let's regroup by 11:05. Everybody with me? Okay, thank you, guys. Okay, guys, I'm back. Are you guys back, guys? Can you give me a quick yes? Thank you. So let's see where we are, guys. Okay, so back to a little bit of if loops and things like that is I think what I'm trying to convey here. So the length of the tray is greater than 0. Length is, you're asking how many cups are there, and then that is getting printed, is what that is doing. This is one way of checking if there are any items in the tray. Okay, so let's see, go a little ahead. Now take a look at this. Let's see if you can catch it, guys. Catch it, guys. What is the problem? Okay, cool. So one more time, you put that, make sure you put the colon. In other words, you tell yourself Python is forcing you to put the colon. Another small thing, if you don't have the indentation also, or in other words, we'll put the colon, but if you don't have the indentation, Python will catch it. So put the colon, make sure the indentation is there, no problem. Everybody with me, quick yes, please. Okay, let's come down here. That's just indentation for both of them. So now take a look at this, guys. The same thing, if tray is not equal to empty tray. It is another method of checking. Generally, you may not often see that, but this is also checking if the tray, we have 3 cups. Is it an empty tray? No, it's not an empty tray, so it is not printing. So here what is happening, this is not equal to. So this is evaluating to true. This is evaluating to true, and that is why we are saying, yes, the list is not empty. Catching it, guys? Praharsha, are you catching it? Sham. Okay, another one, print the tray. Now take a look at this, guys. This is slightly interesting here. Let's run it. Print tray. We have 3 cups. What are we doing? If tray. We are not checking, is it equal to empty tray, or we are not checking if size is equal to empty tray. What is happening is Python, if you say if, it is automatically doing that operation. It is going into and printing it, this statement or this line. What it is doing is it is automatically, it is going into it. Here, the list is not empty. So if the list is empty, what will it do? It will not print it. What is slightly different is, even though you have not given a length, or even though you have not given a condition like that, even though we have given a just a tray, it is actually checking the size of the tray. And if the size of the tray is not empty, then the print is getting called. That is what is slightly interesting, and slightly advanced also. Catching it, guys? Who are my boys? Let's see. Go back to our boys. Say this one. Niharika, Suresh, Rahul, are you catching it? Rahul, how about Niharika and Suresh? So you don't need to by heart this, guys. You don't need to by heart this, but I'm just getting you familiar. Few things I will ask you to get familiar. Few things I will ask you to get aware. Few things I will ask you to by heart or manually remember them. I will give you here. My objective is not about this one. My objective is I'm just telling you how the if loop is working. So what is happening here, buddy? If Thakur, if tray, what Python is doing is if you just give a tray without any condition, it is automatically evaluating this condition, is what Python is doing. That is how Python is working. It is something slightly, it may be slightly different in Java and .NET. You may not really notice that kind of a behavior, but Python is giving us that kind of behavior where you give a tray and it is automatically checking if there is anything. If there is something in it, then the true is getting evaluated here. Slightly deep one, slightly tough one. Without the condition is true, then it will not print it. So in other words, the same thing, let's say print, let's say come back here, print tray. Where is our empty tray? Back to empty tray. Copy this one. Put this here. Tray empty. You say if tray empty, you don't give this one. If tray is empty, so what will happen? This will not get printed. You should see if we run this one, nothing gets printed. Oops. This. Let's run it. Nothing is getting printed because the condition is not getting evaluated. Python is not going into that because the tray is empty. If the tray is empty, it is returning a false. Another way to think of it. If the tray is not empty, it is returning a true. That is something slightly interesting, slightly advanced that Python is doing for us. Who's that? Lokesh, are you catching it, buddy? Okay. So that's a little bit of if. And we as students, we have discussed that part of it. So, okay. So what I'll do now, let me go one step ahead. Dictionaries, okay. Gentlemen, ladies, I'm going to increase the complexity a little bit today. And let's see if we can simplify the complexity. Okay, so come here. I'm going to introduce you to a little bit of object-oriented programming. Give a quick touch of it. Thank you. This here. So visualize a person. What does a person have? A person has, say, choose this. One more time. Person has something. What is it? A person will have name, and let's put an age here. There's an age. And put a salary. So here is name. Start with as name. Let's give it an age. And salary is the most important thing. Okay, then come back here. What does the person do? The person does something. Let's say, start with this one again. A person will eat. Then let's put a person will play. And a person will exercise. So let's say here's does and here is it. So let's say he will eat, he will play, and he will exercise. Let's say give that one. Choose this one. So back here, he will also sleep. Good one. You can add more and things like that. So eat, play, and exercise, and has a name. You can also think of other things, but for sake of simplicity, there's a name, age, and salary. So what is this? Meditation, good one, my favorite one there. And so what is, why is this important? This is in a logical word. You can think of many things a person does, but now in a slightly object-oriented word, what do we do? Well, visualize for a moment. We're going to take this, we're going to convert this into a class. This is a class. Okay. This is a class, and what you do, you take this one, this is a person, you call this as a, oops, put this up to here, person, call this as a person. And then what we'll do, we'll put the name here on the left-hand side, age here, move it, and salary. And take the eat, take the play, take the exercise. What is this? This is, we converted what is in an object-oriented world to a I'm sorry, a logical world to an object-oriented world. So what is the mantra? The mantra of a class is has and does. Has and does is going to be mantra. So let's dig a little bit deep into it and try to understand what that means, guys. Let's say, come here. Here is class person. What do? We are now trying to convert it into an object-oriented world. We know person, the story of the person has and does. Notice error. What is the problem? So let's say class person, give a colon. Notice it will give you an error. What is the problem? One more time, give a colon. What is this? This is one line of code. Say pass. Notice no problem. What is Python doing? If you have only one line of code, and if you're not doing anything, you have to explicitly tell it that, hey, I'm doing nothing. How do you say that? That is pass. Okay, what is this? This is a class. But what is this one? Generally, when you create a class, what do? You create an object. Sachin equals to person. This is Sachin. Notice no problem. What is Sachin? Sachin is an object. In other words, let's come back to our thing. Think of a house. Let's say this is our house. This is our house. What is, before building a house, what do? Well, you go to an architect, you get an architectural plan. What is an architectural plan? An architectural plan is the class. What can you do? With an architectural plan, you can build many houses. What are the houses? The houses are nothing but the objects. What is a class? The mantra of a class is an architectural plan. And after you create a class, what do? We create many objects. What does that mean? So come back here. Sachin is one person. You can also say Dhoni is another person. Sachin and Dhoni are person. So what is Sachin and Dhoni? They are like a house. And what is person? Person is a class. Everybody with me? What is pass? Pass is do nothing. For now, Revati. Tell yourself, pass means do nothing. It is just, we're just telling Python, hey, do nothing. I'm just creating a class here. Okay. So now let's extend this one, guys. Come here. Take a look at this. Class person. Now notice we're going to add a function inside this class, which is double underscore in it. Now increasing the complexity today, guys. You have to work with me. You have to bear with me. There's a method or there's a function which we are adding. It's called double underscore in it. That's slightly intimidating function name. We're passing in something called and I'm in constructor. So notice here is our class. Instead of pass, we add a function and notice what happens. Run it. Now notice, say Sachin equals to person. Notice what happens. I'm in constructor. In other words, if you come back here, say, okay, this here, this here, this here. When we create an object, what Python is doing is Python is indirectly calling this function. They say this is a function which is getting called at the time of construction of an object. At the time of construction of your house, what's happening is Python is calling this object. So what is it? That is why it is called a constructor. It is something I will ask you, I will force you to remember. What is it? Double underscore in it, double underscore. That is the name of the function. For every class, generally, we define a constructor. Why? We'll try to understand shortly and in the coming days, in the coming hours and things like that. What is this? This is the story of the constructor. So in other words, let me do a little bit of cleanup. What is class? Class is an architectural plan. Okay, what is double underscore in it? It is called a constructor. Why is it called a constructor? At the time of creating or constructing an object, Python is calling this function. So we are calling that as a constructor. That is something we need to manually remember. Everybody with me, guys. Quick yes, please. That's a tough one. But for now, okay, if you find it difficult, that's okay. We'll spend some good amount of time and we'll also think of this as a quick introduction, as simple as that. Now, let's take it to the next level and see the importance of that. Take the class person. We already know a person has a name and an age and a salary. What is name and age and salary? They are called attributes. Whatever that comes under has is referred as attribute. So let's take a class person one more time and notice the constructor now. What is constructor? Constructor is used for creating or adding the attributes. is what it is. Name, age, and salary. Where is the name, age, and salary coming from? A person has age, name, and salary. So what do? You add that. You add the attributes in the constructor. So what is the advantage of it? So now take a look at this. Here is Sachin. Because we changed the class, if you now try to create Sachin equals to person, notice it will give you an error. Why is it giving an error? It says missing 3 required. Notice the constructor. There are 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 arguments here. We have not even given 1 argument here. There are 4 inputs that Mixi is expecting, but we have not even given 1 input. This is a juice of maybe an apple, an orange, a guava, and maybe a mango. But we have not even given, so the Mixi is not working. That is what is the problem. Where we create an object, this is how we create an object. This is called an object. Sachin is an object. This is how we are explicitly creating objects. When you say int equals to 1, Nescafe equals to coffee, that is also an object that Python is creating, Lokesh. Until now, whenever we are creating the variables or the cups or the trays, right, they are actually objects. Behind the scene, everything is an object. That's why Python is called an object-oriented programming language. Catching it, Lokesh? Same like Java? Yes, it's same like Java, as simple as that. So now, what should we do? Let's come back here. Take a look at this. Sachin is a person. We'll come back here. We'll remove this one. There it is. Here is Sachin. Here is an age. Here is the salary. You're giving 100 salary, 20 years is age, and let's say that is Sachin. So what is slightly different is, notice for self, we are not passing an argument. Okay, what is self? We'll learn. It is called a self-referencing variable. We'll learn more about that in coming up days. But what is it? That is a requirement. What you have to do is, for self, we should not pass any argument. Python does not take any argument. But for name, for age, and salary, what are these? These are 3 arguments. What is happening? They're getting initialized inside the constructor. What is it? That is what constructor is used for. We say constructor. For today, okay. You want to practice this manually? Okay, okay. There's a lot of visual explanation I'm doing, Subbu. So just stick with me. I'll try to come to a little bit of hands-on in a bit, if time permits. Okay, buddy? Okay, so back to init, self. A name, an age, a salary are the arguments. Name, age, and salary are called the attributes. I'm going to force you to remember. A little bit of terminology is coming. So if we clean up one more time. Here's the first one. Class is an architectural plan. Init is a constructor. A name, an age, a salary are the arguments. Name, age, and salary are called the attributes. Self is called self-referencing variable. And what is special about it? You don't pass any arguments to it. So what is it? Line 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 lines of code in object-oriented programming. And we have 6 things going on in our mind. 6 sentences minimum that we are thinking, we are talking about it. What is it? That is the complexity of the object-oriented programming. It just looks like it is 1, 2, or 3 lines of code, but there is a lot of explanation that we are giving in our mind is one, the complexity. But what we'll do, we'll try to simplify it. Everybody with me so far? Quick yes, please. So imagine, should we take directly without an age? Okay, I'm coming to that. Let's take Dhoni. Let's create an object. What are we doing? When you create a class, you also create an object. It's like when you go to an architect and get an architectural plan, you also build a house. So Sachin is one object, Dhoni is one object. Those are the names. They have different attributes. What is it? That is the data of a object is what you can think. But let's do this, guys. Let's apply the same concept to a cricket player. What does a cricket player have? A cricket player will have a name, a bat, and a ball. Who's it? Here is Sachin. Sachin is a cricket player. There is a name. His bat name is MRF. His ball name is Guru. So what do? Let's go ahead and create a class, and we're creating an object. So now what is special about it? Notice Sachin. You say a dot and do a tab. Notice bat, ball, and name. So here is his bat. You say Sachin.bat, it will give you MRF. Say Sachin.ball, it will give you Guru. Say Sachin.name, it will give you the name Sachin. we're able to access the data. The bat, ball, and name are the attributes. They are nothing but the data. Everybody with me? Quick yes. We have taken the same concept from person, we have applied it to a cricket player. Okay, now let's extend this. Let's go to badminton player. A badminton player will have a name, a racket, and a shuttle. A cricket player will have a bat and a ball. A badminton player will have a racket and a shuttle. So who's our badminton? There is Sindhu. Badminton player's name is Sindhu. Her racket name is Yonex and her shuttle name is Yonex also. So let's say there is Sindhu. So here is Sindhu dot, and notice now Sindhu has a name, racket, and a shuttle. Let's start with name, Sindhu. One more time, here is Sindhu is not only the object, her name is also Sindhu. You can give any name. Sindhu dot, do a tab, you will see racket. Oops. One more time, here's racket, Yonex. One more time, Sindhu dot, what's her shuttle name? Shuttlecock is Yonex. Okay, so that's another way we are applying the class. The mantra of a class is architectural plan. The second mantra is has and does. Why are we putting racket and shuttle? A badminton player plays with racket and shuttle. A cricket player will play with a bat and ball. We say a cricket player has a bat and a ball, and a badminton player has a racket and a shuttle. What is this? This is called object-oriented thinking. We've been talking about objects, the list, tuples, arrays, all these are objects. Now we're actually getting into object-oriented thinking. Everybody with me? Quick yes, please. Cool. Okay. So back here. That is the quick introduction to classes. Now let's see where we were yesterday. Oops. Up here. Let's space. Matplotlib. We looked at that. Matplotlib. Back to Matplotlib. So hopefully you remember what is Matplotlib, and we are probably eggs.plot, right? There it is. Let's see what we have. Figure. Get this from here. This in the subplots. Subplots. Plots. Bunch of stuff here. Cell figure. It's a lot of stuff coming here. Start with the blank canvas. Add the access to subplots, rows and columns, rows and columns. Okay, just trying to arrange them in an order, guys. Bear with me. Sorry about that. This will help you practice in a step by step, and each one will be separate here. So I think we were at the classes here. So Control F, say class. Now what we'll do is, since we are in classes, we'll take this part of it. This one back to the cloud. We have this one is actually part of the functions. So we'll say file, new. Four is functions. Title. Say view, header. So tm underscore 05 underscore classes. Let's put this here. That's the story. Class person and things like that. Okay, that is okay. Now we'll come back to a little bit of, let's see. That is the list. Here is the matplotlib. Back to the story, the matplotlibs. Let's see what it will do for us today. This here. back to the here. And let's see if you can catch it, guys. Figure, here's a figure. A figure is a group of axes. Here is axis 1, axis 2. Let's see what happens here. Catch it. What is the problem, guys? Anybody? Simple answer. Still thinking? Satish, are you there, buddy? Satish, Suresh? Subplot. TLT not defined. Good one, Rahul. So notice, I'm coming back to this notebook Matplotlib from yesterday. So from yesterday till today, there's a lot of gap. All the objects that we have loaded yesterday, all the packages that we have loaded yesterday are gone, or they're clear. So what we need to do is go back up here again. Initiate your objects. Load up the package Matplotlib, create the X object and create the Y object. Now those three are required here. So now we'll come here. One of the things which was failing is PLT. It did not know what is PLT. What is PLT, guys? What do we call PLT? It is a friendly name or an alias. So now let's run it. Notice that's what we are getting. So let's see what that means, guys. Let's say come back here. Back to 2. Say come here. Put this here. So there are two axes. Add axis means that's a x-axis and a y-axis. This is another x-axis and a y-axis. So the first one is this part of it, which is okay, is coming. When you say add axis, it is drawing that one. When you say this one, this is going to become a child of the parent. So what is that one? Let's choose this one. Let's choose this one. Let's say this one. So this is the child. But where is it putting is what is the question is. So if you take left, bottom, width and height is what this is. 0.2 means roughly 20% from here. The left is 20% roughly. The bottom roughly 50%. So 0.4 is here. If you notice this one, this point is roughly 50%. So this is 0.4, that is nothing but 0.5. So what is this one? This is ending up being 0.2 and 0.5. That is the coordinate where it is starting. And what is 0.4? 0.4 is 40% the width of the total. This is going from 0 to 1. So let us say that is 100%. Roughly, if you take this part of it, this part is 40% the width of the parent. So from here, the 40% of the width is coming here, and then 30% is the height of it, which means if you take this whole thing, and how much is this? This is 100%. What's happening is, this is from here, 30% is ending up this one. This one is 40% in width of the parent. This one is 30% the height of the child, height of the parent. What's happening in this one is the coordinates, x1 and the y1, where it is starting. Everybody catching it, guys? Quick yes, please. So what did we do? This is, when you say add axis, you're adding an x-axis and a y-axis. Axis is a group of axes. Axis means only one dimension. Axis means 2 dimensions. So axis is adding 2 dimensions. Inside that, it's adding another one. And this is relative. Relative to the first one is what we say or what they say. This is the main axis. This is the inset axis. This is the parent axis. This is the child axis. And that is something how Matplotlib is working. So I will say, this is something we need to keep in mind. So let's dig a little bit deep into it, guys. Okay, 20% from left, 50% from bottom. It's the width and the height of the parent. What is add axis? Can we change it? No. Add axis is a function. Come back here. Add axis is a built-in function from Matplotlib. And figure, so when you say, so okay, one more time, yes, when you say, so the first step that Matplotlib is doing is it is creating a figure object. Inside the figure object, it's adding an axis object. So a figure can have a group of axes, inside that is becoming the parent axis. Parent axis, And then the next one is going to become the child axis. Let's give, this is the child axis. So here is the child and the pink one is the parent. It is predefined. Yes, that is true. This is the procedure that we need to follow, Lokesh. Catching it, bird. So again, create a figure object that will become the parent. This will become the child. This is the process. This is the procedure that we need to follow, is what it is. Okay, let's go a few more, just changing the X and Y, the width and height here. So now come here, take a look at this, guys. Notice our plots, both of them, the parent and the child. The child is called the inset and the parent is called the main. They are empty. Now what we'll do, take a look at this. Create a figure, add it, add a parent, add a child, then access one dot plot. That is going to put a chart or a plot or a visualization inside it. A line chart is more precisely what it is. So let's see if we run this one. The first 2 points in the axis are the origin points of the child. Yeah. From the bottom. Who's it? Pravalika, Rakesh Sharma. You have the icon of the Rakesh Sharma. Why do you like Rakesh Sharma, Pravalika? What is special about him? You want to be an astronaut or something? Open up. Waiting for your answer. Like a childhood dream. Oh, sweet, good, great. Good to know, good to know. See, okay. Couldn't right now. No, there's nothing like couldn't, but yeah, that's a good one to have. Don't worry that you couldn't. Focus on what you can, and you might become what you want. Cool. Okay. So come back here. Start your process. Add a figure. Add a parent. Add a child. And then what we are doing is we are doing a plot. When you do access one dot plot, the visualization is getting added to the parent. When you say access two, that is the child. Maybe I should say this is parent, this is child. So plot is getting added to the parent here. Plot is getting added to the child. Access one and access two, these names you can give. You can give whatever you like. But add, access, figure, these are built-in functions in Matplotlib. Everybody with me, quick yes, please. Pravalika, are you catching it? Okay, so what is happening? So this is the width and height is what we have drawn. And based on the values of X and Y, the Y-axis is going from 0 to 25. The X-axis is going from 0 to 5. Okay, so in other words, let's say, come here, print X, then we'll say print Y. And now run it. So X is going from 0 to 5. Y is going from 0 to 25. That's why we are saying X-axis, the values are 0 to 5. Y is going from 0 to 25. When you come to the plot, so let's say, let's say, for the sake of discipline, print X, print of Y. Now we'll take this one more time. Copy this, paste it. Call this parent. Call this child. Call this parent. Call this child. Notice the same thing. What names you give to your objects is up to you, but the functions is not up to you. We are using exactly the same functions as one more time. Y-axis 1 is acting as the main axis. So in other words, whatever is the first, when you say add axis, what is happening is that is the first plot or the axis which is getting added to your figure. Actually, your question is a tough question, Lavanya. I may not be able to answer the exact answer, but I'll say it like this. The person, whoever has coded, he followed this process. What is this? His procedure is, we'll create a figure object. When you add an axis, I'll add a parent. Inside that, you can add as many. Now, what is this? This is inside adding, but later we'll see how to add many subplots and things like that. As it is defined as first one. Okay, good one. That's also a good answer from Satish. Lavanya, fair enough? For now, what you're asking is a slightly tough question. What I'll say, whoever coded it like that. First line acts as a parent. Add access is acting like a parent. That's right. We'll go with that one. Cool. And notice when you say child or plot, we are not giving xy, we are giving yx. So that's why it's looking like that. It's red in color. Cool, guys. So let's say come back here. Back to figure, add an axis, parent, child, and now grandchild. Plot blue. Oops, get a moment, it's painting slowly. Plot, the child is in red, the grandchild is in green. Let's see how that looks like. Okay, we have given some random numbers here, but you can change them. You play around and just get a feel of it and things like that. Fair enough, guys. Everybody with me. Quick yes, please. Suresh, Satish, are you with me? Cool. Okay. So let's say, come back here, access plot. We'll extend this one. Now take a look at this. Parent child. Here is parent plot and set title large plot. Parent plot. Parent plot is larger plot. Access to is child. We'll call this as a smaller plot. Oops. This one. Back here. So earlier we didn't give any title. Now we have added a title. That's a parent plot. This is a child plot. Wonderful. Thank you, Suresh. Quick yes, please. Just type in a Y. Repeat the process again. Start with figure, parent, child, plot the parent, set x-axis label, y-axis label, and title. Repeat that for the child. So notice the names. They say this is an object-oriented way. We are just getting started with object-oriented way. So X label is nothing but x-axis label, y-axis label, title is title, main title. Quick yes, please. Okay, so what is something slightly, maybe you will struggle is, you'll struggle probably, this is left width, left bottom, width and height. This is kind of 20% from the left-hand side, 50%, roughly if you're able to recall that aspect of it, the rest of them will be much more simple. This is slightly, the numerical part of it is what might put a little effort, where you might take a little effort, guys, okay? So let's see what we have. Now take a look at this. Now, increasing the complexity, gentlemen, ladies. Figure, put a figure, we'll just say, here it is, an empty figure, nothing will come up. Okay, so what we'll do, figure access plt.subplots, run it, there's an empty chart coming up. Every time one first acts as a parent. Yeah, for now think of it like that, Vinay. When you say add access, the first thing is the parent, the second thing is the child, that is what is the catch. That's what you need to manually remember. But now notice what we are doing. I'm not saying add access, I'm saying subplots. Subplots is another function. And what is happening is, now notice what is happening is, when you say figure, this figure is giving us figure object. Behind the scenes what it is doing is, it is doing a return. That function is returning a figure object is what we say from an object-oriented standpoint. A little bit of object-oriented terminology. When you say subplots, figure is returning one object. So let's say figure is one house. This is Vinay's house. You go to Vinay's house, he's giving you one object. But go to Niharika's house, she's giving you two objects. Okay, what is this? This is called unpacking from a slightly computer science standpoint. In the coming up days, I'll give you more examples of unpacking and we'll try to logically understand it. But for now, this function is giving you two objects, is what it is. Subplots. What is it? One is figure object. It is also giving you an access object, the main figure that we are looking here. It is not only giving you a figure, but also an access object is something to be kept in mind. In what way is that useful? Let's try to understand that. So come here. So now take a look at this. Figure access, so get the figure and the access and say access.plot. Notice what is happening. This will be the parent. And we are drawing a red line chart with the X and Y coordinates as the X and Y values. Quick yes, please. Everybody with me. So when you say plot, it is adding the plot to the axis. The axis is inside the figure. Figure is the parent. Axis is the child. Inside the child, a plot is getting added is what is going on. A figure can have multiple axes is another one. Okay, one more time. This is the parent, this is the child. A child can have multiple plots. That's what I'll show you now. And a parent, so a child can have multiple grandchildren. A parent can have multiple children, is what it is. So if you go from right-hand side, this is grandchild, this is child, and this is a parent, is one way to think of it. A figure is a group of axes. An axis can be a group of plots, is another way to think of it. Quick yes, please. Oops. Screen is stuck. Just 1 second, guys. There you go. Okay. Let's see. Let's extend this. We'll try to understand that location. So back to now, take a look at this, guys. Subplots. This is where the complexity is coming in. We're saying I want 1 row and 2 columns. We're going to look at more examples. Okay, so it's becoming extremely slow. Close some objects. One moment, guys. Oops. How about now, guys? Can you hear me? Quick yes, please. Oh, okay. Sorry about that. And let's see. Come here. See where we are. Okay. So now back here. Okay, my thing got slowed. Say, come here. Say, put this here. Back here. Let's see if this brings up this one. Say, here we go. Okay. So let's say, oh, this is not working. Have to manually go here. Okay. Subplots is n rows and 2 columns. So let's say copy this one. I'll go here. It's in 2 columns. Paste it here. So take a look at this, guys. So now what we have done is our figure has 1 axis, and what is happening is we have divided that into 1 row and 2 columns. So let's see if we can simplify this one. Snap it. Choose this one. So this whole thing is one figure, one row and two columns. It has been divided into two columns. So short and sweet, like just like yesterday, this is another way of creating two columns. That is becoming one column. That's becoming another column. And what it is doing is it is adding two axes. One axis has been earlier, we have added a parent and then we put a child. So inside a child is this one. This is acting like a child. But now this is, the parent is this one. This is child one, child two. We can further add grandchild one, grandchild two, and three. Those we'll see in a moment. Everybody catching it, guys? Quick yes, please. So more precisely, you don't have to get perfect yet, but n rows, n columns is telling you how many rows and columns you need for visualizations is what this is doing. What is subplot? Subplot is dividing your figure into many plots or many subplots. That's what subplot, as simple as that. Quick yes, please. Cool. Okay, let me see, come back here, There is subplot, back to that one, two rows. Okay, so take a look at this. Let's see if this helps you. Copy this one and copy this one, paste it here. So now notice we have divided that into 3 rows and 3 columns. As simple as that. So what I want you to understand is don't worry about what is subplots, don't worry about all these things. For now, just think of rows and columns. We are going to divide our entire visualization into 3 rows and 3 columns is what you think. But notice the problem. It is overlapping. So what do? Let's come back here. We say, copy this, back to this one, check Mahendra, PLT dot, tight layout, and now notice it is separating, it is fixing the overlapping. The tight layout is making sure that the overlap is not happening. It is giving enough spacing, as simple as that. Everybody with me? Quick yes, please. You can put how many our rows, how many our columns you'd like, mostly in a visualization, in a machine learning and deep learning, things like that. We will try to display multiple visualizations at one shot. We'll try to get a feel of the patterns and things like that. That's where this kind of things will come in. So both plot and subplot, we can create children. In subplot, it creates children according to rows and columns. Good one there. So notice Pravalika's explanation is much more clear than mine. It is subplot is allowing us to create the multiple visualizations in terms of rows and columns. You're explicitly saying this is rows, this is columns. Everybody catching it, guys? Quick yes, please. Cool. Okay, gentlemen, ladies. For today, I'll stop it here. Any questions today, guys?
Naveen, what are the timings for tomorrow training?
Tomorrow, I don't have any plan.
Okay, Naveen. Okay,
so
Naveen.
Probably we'll be taking a break. We'll be meeting back on Monday.
Okay. Thank you, Naveen.
Thank you, buddy. So everybody else, do you think you'll be able to go back to your exercises and to your cloud lab? And do you think you'll be able to practice this, guys? Can you give me a quick yes or no? Okay, good, guys. Please try to practice, guys. It will be helpful for you. It will be useful for you. And you guys have to, you have to do it for yourself. Great. Let me paste this here, bring this here, put this here. Where can we find the notes? I have already shared it in the G drive. Lokesh. Today's also, I'll put it there. Let's see where it is. Is the keywords, activities. Likita. And I think we were at favorites, Katyayani. We started here today. So we started from Santosh's house. List comprehensions, touch of classes, create a blank figure. And there it is, subplots. So we'll copy this one. this here, paste it here. Let's see if I can find my drive one more time. Here we go. This is TechM. This is one. And what we'll do in folder upload file, more text editor, create and share. Say create new text file, paste it here, and say tm_003.py. Let's say save to drive. So just like how I'm doing here, you practice it step by step, as simple as that. While you're practicing, see if you're able to explain to yourself a little bit. And in the coming up days, I'll make you an expert in these things. Init access 1 and access 2. Okay. So again, Thakur will talk a lot about that in coming up days, buddy, but short and sweet. You create a figure object, you add a parent object, you add a child object. Access 1 is your parent, then you add a child. What is this? This is the method. This is the procedure of how matplotlib is working. As simple as that. Okay, one more time. Add a figure. Figure is like the parent. Access 1 is the child. Access 2 is the grandchild. What are we doing? This is how you add a child to a grandchild. If you want to put a grandchild into a child, this is the process we are following. Whereas if you want to put them side by side, then that's where we are using subplots. Catching it, Thakur? So we have lots of examples coming up. Hopefully you'll become experts in these things in the coming up days. So this is a quick intro. I'm sprinkling a little bit of it so that it doesn't become too stressful. Any other questions today, guys? Okay, if you don't have any questions, you can go ahead and sign off, guys. I'll give a couple of minutes here for the rest of you to hang in there and to let me know if you have any questions. But feel free to sign off. You guys take care. You have a good weekend and stay safe, guys. Please practice if time permits, guys. Cool. Okay. Thank you, Ganesh. Okay, it doesn't look like there are any questions coming up, which is, again, that is okay. That's not a problem. But from Monday onwards, let's try to have somebody ready with the Cloud Lab. When you log in, you try to log into the Cloud Lab. We'll try to practice simultaneously, parallelly, so that you'll also get a good feel of it and it will be helpful for you guys, okay? So stay tuned for that and we'll wrap up here. You guys take care, stay safe and keep learning. Signing off, guys. Bye for now.